Have you felt a restlessness recently that the world's nose cannot cure? Do you sense that you are standing on the precipice of a change so vast that speaking of it might shatter the moment? If you are reading this, it is not a coincidence, it is a divine appointment. You are being addressed as a chosen one, a designation that carries weight, responsibility, and an urgent command from the Creator. The message echoing from the spiritual realm is unequivocal. The time for excuses has expired, and the season of talking must come to an abrupt end. God is speaking directly to the core of your being, issuing a wake-up call that serves as both a final warning and a glorious invitation. To ignore this summon is to choose a path of deep regret, but to heed it is to step into a destiny that has been waiting for your alignment. Before we press deeper into this revelation, I invite you to pause and perform a simple, prophetic act of faith. In the spiritual realm, agreement is powerful. If your spirit is already stirring, I ask you to press the like button right now. Do not see this as a digital metric, but as a physical sign of your spiritual agreement, a signal to the universe that you are open, listening, and ready to receive. And if you have not yet joined this sanctuary, I encourage you to subscribe and turn on notifications. By doing so, you are not just following a channel. You are planting yourself in a community of believers, ensuring you remain aligned with the messages God is releasing in this season. Let this small action be your first step of obedience today. The command is simple yet profound, rooted in the ancient wisdom of Psalm 46:10. Be still and know that I am God. This is not a suggestion for relaxation, it is a decree for authorization. For too long, you have carried the weight of the world on your shoulders, and your voice has been exhausted by explaining, defending, and negotiating your existence. Heaven declares that you have spoken too much. You have scattered your energy in directions that yield no harvest. Now, God commands a hush. This stillness is the preparation ground for an elevation that defies logic. The nights ahead are not ordinary nights, they are portals, gateways to a transformation beyond your wildest dreams. But this transformation hinges on one non-negotiable condition: you must learn the power of silence. This brings us to a critical strategy you must adopt immediately: the protection of your spiritual womb season. We live in an era of oversharing, where the validation of thought often depends on its public reception. However, spiritual maturation demands the opposite. God is instituting a divine hush over your life because your silence is no longer an afterthought, it is a sacred shield. You have poured out your dreams, your visions, your revelations, and your spiritual instructions to freely and for too long. In your innocence and excitement, you shared your blueprints with ears that were not consecrated for your journey. You must understand that every word you speak carries vibration, authority, and purpose. When those potent words echo in the ears of souls not aligned with your path, they do not just fall flat, they become tools of delay, sabotage, and theft. God has witnessed enough of your plans being hijacked and your spirit being drained by those who were never meant to hold the weight of your vision. Therefore, He now demands your silence to become your strongest weapon. It is in the stillness that God will unveil your next step. In the solitude, the Holy Spirit whispers wisdom that is too sacred for public consumption. There is a strategic military advantage to this quietness. The enemy cannot steal what he cannot hear. Heaven is moving on your behalf, but divine action requires your voice to rest. Obedience to this silence is the very threshold of your breakthrough. I know that this path of silence can feel isolating, but I want to remind you that you are not walking it alone. Look at the comments section below not as a void, but as a sacred gathering place, a prayer wall for our community. I invite you to share a part of your story or simply type 1 receive my peace to solidify your commitment. Have you felt this urge to be quiet lately? Confide in us. By sharing your testimony or your current struggle, you release a burden and allow your brothers and sisters here to stand in agreement with you. We are building a family of faith, and your voice matters here. Let us bear witness to one another's journey. You must discern your audience with ruthless precision. You have shared your testimony and bared your pain, often uplifting others while hiding your own tears. But God says, enough words. This silence is not a punishment, it is a protective mechanism. It filters the wheat from the chaff, it discriminates between those who truly walk with you in covenant and those who are merely seeking to collect your secrets as ammunition. Not every ear that hears you is loyal. Not every hand that claps for you is clapping in faith, some listen only to deconstruct your hope. The season for revealing your spiritual blueprints has passed. The enemy is subtle, He does not always appear as a monster, but often wears the mask of a compliment, a checking in text, or a disarming smile. By oversharing, you unravel the mystery around your movement. Your future is not a communal project to be voted on by the masses. It is a covenant between you and the Most High. This is a womb season, not a broadcast season. Consider the biology of a seed. When a seed is planted, it is buried in the dark, silent soil. It is not excavated daily to prove to the neighbors that it is growing. To do so would kill the root. It is watered in secret, and it waits patiently for the bloom. The same principle applies to your spiritual breakthrough. What God is doing in your life demands privacy, not publicity. Your silence is the nutrient-rich soil in which miracles germinate. As Jesus warned in Matthew 7-6, do not throw your pearls before swine. This is not an insult to others, but a valuation of your treasure. Not everyone deserves access to your progress. Some simply wish to consume your insight rather than nurture your growth. Therefore, keep your plans folded in, let them mature in the dark. When the appointed time arrives, your manifestation will do the speaking, and your results will roar louder than any exclamation ever could. Once you have secured your internal silence, you are called to prepare your physical environment for spiritual activation. As you embrace this internal silence, you must also curate your external environment. Tonight is not an ordinary night. The atmosphere is pregnant with possibility. God is opening portals, windows of opportunity, not often granted, that have the power to shift your life's trajectory. But this transformation demands alignment. If your spirit tugs you toward solitude, or if a holy unrest stirs your heart, do not ignore it. It is a divine invitation. This hour is not about external effort or striving. It is about internal metamorphosis. Heaven is posed to move, but you must be positioned to receive. Your body is sacred, and your energy is finite. God calls you to disconnect from silence devices, the screens, the notifications, the digital modes, so that frequencies do not clash. This spiritual download demands clarity, not interference. The nose of technology disrupts the purity God intends to infuse within you. You are called to curate your physical space as an act of spiritual warfare and preparation. Clean your room, clear your heart, and detox your mind. Heaven responds to order. Your breakthrough is magnetic, but magnets require a pure field to operate efficiently. Chaos repels manifestation. If your environment is messy, your manifestation will be scrambled. Therefore, purge the distractions. Sever the draining relationships, dump the toxic media consumption. Create a space that whispers peace, smells of purpose, and sounds of surrender. The tools for this alignment are not complex rituals, but intentional acts of faith. Lighting a candle can symbolize the divine presence and the light of truth in darkness. Surrounding yourself with symbols of value, perhaps gold or silver, is not about idolatry, but about reflecting royalty, abundance, and heavenly riches. These are physical expressions of spiritual truth. As you surround yourself with them, your environment aligns with the expectancy in your spirit. You are creating a portal of reception, a sacred atmosphere for God to move. But the greatest tool remains silence. In silence, we hear. In silence, we vibrate wisely. Tonight is not about sound. It is about alignment. Banish disturbances. Speak no more. Wait. Something is stirring. Your body is more than tissue and bone. It is a crystalline instrument designed to receive, hold, and transmit divine energy. In these nights of stillness, God will activate that internal circuitry. You may sense tingles, warmth, surges of clarity, or sudden emotional waves. These are not random symptoms, they are divine calibrations. However, understand that this process is fragile. Any interruption, distraction, negativity, or noise can distort the download. That is why God pleads, guard your space, create stillness. You must understand that this calibration is leading to something far greater, a monumental shift in your very timeline. This calibration is leading to a monumental shift in your timeline. Portals are spiritual openings where heaven and earth intersect, and tonight, they are open wide. This serves as a divine interruption to your status quo. Your ordinary timeline is being suspended. The cycles of the past, the generational bondages, the recurring defeats, the stagnation are loosening their grip. Your future is being rewritten in glory, but only the spiritually alert will perceive it. Many will pass through this season as though it were a mundane occurrence, spending their time scrolling, sleeping, or complaining. You cannot afford to be among them. You are the chosen, and the chosen do not move en masse. You feel this shift even if you cannot yet articulate it. It is the tug in your chest, the restless nights, the intensified prayers. This is your window of escape from the loops of lack and fear. This is your exodus. The law of attraction is often misunderstood as New Age philosophy, but it is woven into the fabric of creation. What you surround yourself with, you attract. You are the conductor of this energy. God warns, not everyone journeys with you tonight. Not all deserve entry to this iteration of you. If you allow low-frequency spirits into your sphere, they distort your breakthrough. You cannot carry low-vibration people through a high-frequency season. Protecting your energy is not an act of hate, it is an act of devotion to your purpose. If someone causes you to doubt, shrink, or question what God whispered to you in private, they are not meant to be near you now. This shift is a spiritual jailbreak. The trap of the enemy often feels like comfort or familiarity, but beneath it lies the same loop of anxiety and limitation. Tonight, God hands you the key. Be bold enough to use it. Be obedient enough to walk through the door. God is making a way for you beyond spiritual poverty. This is more than a breakthrough, it is a complete restructuring of your reality. As this timeline shifts, there are specific areas of your life that are being targeted for supernatural reversal. As this timeline shifts, 3 specific areas of your life are being targeted for supernatural reversal: your resources, your connections, and your nocturnal revelations. First, you are entering a season where lack will have no legal standing in your life. A new frequency of abundance is humming around you. This is not just about currency. It is about expansion, overflow, and divine increase. But to steward this, you must ready your mind. Wealth begins in the spirit. If you do not believe you deserve it, you will block it. If you speak the language of poverty, you will repel abundance. God is rewiring your belief system to harmonize with heavenly frequencies where lack is unknown. Every time you speak life over your finances and praise unseen provision, you tune into that high frequency. And as we speak of abundance, let us remember that we build this kingdom together. If this ministry has been a lighthouse for you in the storm, I invite you to partner with us in spreading this message. Whether through a super thanks, a gift, or by becoming a member, your contribution is a seed sown into fertile ground. It is not about the amount, it is about the heart of a giver partnering with the work of God to spread this light to others who are still in the dark. By giving, you signal your readiness to participate in the cycle of divine circulation. We are together in this mission, sowing seeds of love and truth that will harvest souls for the kingdom. You must expunge every echo of scarcity, the broken wallet mentality, the negative money talk, the draining environments. Money is not wicked. It is a tool in the hands of the chosen to multiply missions and bless generations. Second, God is orchestrating divine connections that do not require your striving. You do not have to attempt to be everywhere to be seen. God is planting your name on hearts you have never met. While you are faithful in private, He is speaking your name in rooms your feet have not yet walked into. Favor moves faster than you can go. Divine meetings are aligning in heavenly chambers right now. Someone, somewhere, is already declaring your name for an opportunity that will change your life. Your private integrity matters because you never know whose eyes are watching or what doors will swing open because of unseen seed sown. The answer to your prayers may come in the form of a person, a mentor, a partner, a friend who holds the key to unlock what you could not access alone. Third, your sleep is being reclaimed as a time of prophetic download. Tonight, your dreams are not idle fragments of imagination. They are divine codes. In stillness, God speaks, and sleep is one of His most intimate channels. That restlessness you fought before sleep was your spirit preparing to receive. Do not dismiss it. Go to bed expectant, not exhausted. Place a journal beside you, for God wants to instruct you, warn you of traps, and show you the proper steps. He arms you with strategy in the night watches. The answers will come not in thunder, but in peace, clarity, and unshakable knowing upon waking. Furthermore, as you step into this elevation, you must understand that silence is not merely a bridge to your destination. It is the architecture of your new identity. The command to be silent does not expire the moment the breakthrough manifests. In fact, the true test of your spiritual maturity begins when the blessings start to pour in. It is easy to be silent when we are suffering, out of despair or exhaustion, but it requires a princely spirit to remain silent when we are succeeding. When the doors finally open and the accolades arrive, the human impulse is to shout, to broadcast the victory, and to vindicate oneself against every doubter who once mocked the vision. Yet, this is the precise moment when the chosen one must exercise the greatest restraint. You are not just receiving a blessing, you are becoming a vessel of sustained power. If a vessel is cracked by pride or the need for external validation, the oil of anointing will leak out, and the season of favor will be short-lived. This new identity requires you to walk as a sovereign spirit one who does not derive their value from the applause of the crowd, nor their direction from the opinions of the masses. You are becoming a mystery to those around you, and this mystery is your protection. In the spiritual realm, that which is hidden is holy. By keeping the core of your journey private, you preserve the sanctity of your connection with God. You become like the deep ocean. On the surface, there may be waves and activity visible to all, but in the depths, there is an unshakable stillness that no external storm can disturb. This depth is where your true power resides. It is where you will retreat to recharge, to listen, and to strategize for the next assignment. The world will try to bait you back into the noise. Old acquaintances, toxic family patterns, and systemic distractions will claw at your new boundaries, demanding that you explain your shift. They will interpret your silence as arrogance, your distance as coldness, and your focus as selfishness. Let them. You are no longer obligated to manage the misunderstandings of others. You are entering a Joseph season, a time where you may be misunderstood by your brothers and forgotten by the world, but all the while, you are being positioned for governance. Joseph did not argue with his accusers, he simply excelled in silence until the undeniable moment of his elevation. His silence was not weakness, it was the containment of immense power. Consider the eagle. It is a solitary creature that flies at altitudes other birds cannot survive. It does not chatter with the flock, it hunts in silence and strikes with precision. When the storm comes, the eagle does not seek shelter. It locks its wings and uses the very winds of chaos to lift it higher. This is your mandate. You are being called to fly alone for a season, to separate yourself from the chatter of the sparrows and the noise of the crows. This separation is painful to the flesh but liberating to the spirit. It creates the necessary vacuum for God to fill you with a fresh vision that is uncontaminated by the fears and limitations of your peers. As you sustain this frequency of silence, you will notice a change in your biological and spiritual constitution. Your nervous system will regulate, shifting from a state of constant fight or flight to a state of rest and digest. This physiological peace is the platform for supernatural power. When you are no longer leaking energy through unnecessary speech and anxiety, you accumulate a reserve of spiritual authority. Your presence alone begins to shift atmospheres. You will walk into a room and, without saying a word, bring peace to chaos. This is the hallmark of true dominion, not loud commands, but a weighty, silent presence that commands respect from both the natural and spiritual realms. Finally, we must address the urgency of the moment, for the next 48 hours hold the promise of a supernatural reversal. The urgency of this message cannot be overstated. Something holy is coming in the next 48 hours. This is not because you earned it through labor, but because God chose you. Divine favor is on the move, and it will not be quiet. It will overtake you. It won't be a chase or a hustle. It will drop in like a surprise, a call, a breakthrough, a peace that confirms heaven is leaning in. You have waited, cried, and held your faith while others recede. But understand this, your delay was not denial, it was preparation. In the next 2 days, a supernatural reversal will begin. Those who ignored you will begin to remember you. Locked doors will unlock. Your financial drought is becoming a flood. But God does not need your performance, He needs your posture. Remain humble, stay still and honor the alignment. Don't force outcomes. Say yes only to what flows with peace. When favor arrives, it will feel like the wind at your back, propelling you forward. You asked for a sign, and this is it. These 48 hours are marked by heaven. Your faith has risen, and now your favor is catching up. Today's silence echoes into tomorrow's glory. Heaven notices your restraint the moments you wanted to explain yourself, but chose peace instead. That silence is spiritual mastery. You are stepping into a revised timeline where the chains of hardship, setback, limitation, and delay dissolve. You will no longer fight to inch forward. God is clearing the way. You will inherit wisdom, strength, and resilience that convert obstacles into stepping stones. Every terror and every sleepless night was fertile ground for this moment. Your history is being retold in favor, freedom, and victory. Breathe, release the burden of trying to carry it all. You are entering a season where the load lightens, the path widens, and the harvest pursues you. This is your moment, this is your rise. You have been shining quietly in the dark, but your light will not be hidden any longer. Embrace the hush, let heaven speak, and watch as the impossible becomes your new reality.